The royal corridors have never been this tense, darlings. Imagine it, cameras flashing, whispers bouncing off the palace walls, and the weight of centuries of tradition hanging in the air. And right at the center, two brothers, once inseparable, now glaring across an invisible battlefield.
But long opposed by Prince William, who believes that Harry should remain in exile, who thinks that no member of the royal family should give this guy the credibility that he's still in royal circles, and why I believe William will be utterly furious because he has lobbied his father for months on the idea that Harry needs to remain in exile. And even Harry's behavior this week, Angela, which we'll come to, involved making digs. But Angela, when it comes to that question, I think I could answer. Everything this week has been about trying to prove that he can overshadow Prince William in his own backyard. It is a total disgrace what this guy is doing, because he is totally ignoring.
The Crown may forgive, but William isn't impressed. Harry's latest UK stunt, pure headline chasing, and William is done playing along. Yes, you heard that right. Prince William, the future king, the man who has kept calm through every storm, is fuming. Not just a little annoyed, but seething in that icy, silent way only royals have perfected. Why? Because Harry has once again shattered the fragile trust of the monarchy. And oh, Harry didn't just stroll back into London as if he were popping in for a cup of tea. No, he came roaring in, dressed not in California casual, but in full royal cosplay. He didn't just visit, he staged a comeback.
We own Prince Harry. Yes, we are still a member of the Commonwealth and still our prince. He just doesn't do anything.
Harry didn't just show up in London. He stormed back into the UK like a man on a mission, leaving chaos in his wake. Palace insiders say nobody expected it, not even William. No call, no warning, no heads up, just Harry landing with that half smile that says, "I'm back." Deal with it. The second he stepped off the plane, California casual vanished. Polo shirts, baseball caps, and chill vibes gone. Out came the tailored suit, the royal walk, the picture-perfect hair. Suddenly, he was Prince again. Do you see the theatrics, the calculated style switch? One moment, Harry the California dad. The next, His Royal Highness reborn. And poor William, jaw tight, fists clenched, trying not to let the cameras catch his fury. Because what he saw wasn't his brother. What he saw was a rival, a polished, camera-ready rival.
The getting together again is impossible if they just talk for half an hour. They need weeks, and these very quick conversations don't mean...
William couldn't believe his eyes. The brother standing before him looked nothing like the man he once knew. A perfectly polished, camera-ready prince walking and posing like he'd never left the monarchy. For William, this wasn't nostalgia. It wasn't cute. It was betrayal, live and in HD. The transformation was too slick, too deliberate, and oh so calculated. Insiders didn't mince their words either.
Going back to the UK, he's doing some charity work / just maybe trying to get away from Meghan as she does.
Palace insiders weren't subtle about it. They called it royal cosplay, and William saw right through it. This wasn't a casual visit. It was a performance rehearsed down to the tilt of a chin and the placement of a hand on a railing. Every move screamed control, calculation, and ego. Oh, can you feel the sting? This wasn't brotherly love. It was a chess game. Harry was flexing, saying, "Look at me. I can slide back into this role whenever I choose." And William, he's the one carrying the kingdom on his shoulders, watching his brother swan back like a part-time royal rock star.
And his brother and his stepsister. And I think that it is appalling that he should be able to swung around today. I think it's just awful. I mean, if he's...
The fury wasn't just about appearances. William reportedly told aides that Harry was deliberately sending a message. "I can still do this. I can still slip back into the role whenever I want." For William, who spends every day carrying the weight of the monarchy, the contrast couldn't have been starker. One brother is shouldering responsibilities. The other is waltzing back like nothing ever happened. The betrayal deepened with every smile Harry flashed. Every nod to the cameras was like a dagger twisting in William's chest. Imagine that. Your brother, who torched bridges with explosive interviews, Netflix specials, and memoirs, suddenly strutting as though the past never happened.
He is not someone to be respected.
He said that, didn't he? He said, "Oh, I'm still a boy." And then you think, oh gosh,
Sources say William's anger boiled quietly but intensely. He's pretending to be a prince again, but he's broken every rule of loyalty, a palace insider whispered. Every smile, every nod to the cameras, every polished step was a reminder that Harry had no respect for boundaries he had shattered years ago. The palace walls must have vibrated with William's silent fury. Because Harry's visit, oh, it wasn't casual. It was a staged reminder, a power move to say, I can reinsert myself anytime I want. And William knew this was only the start. Harry's visit wasn't casual. casual. It was a warning, a staged reminder that he could reinsert himself into royal life at will. For William, that wasn't charming, it was infuriating. And then came the ultimate slap in the face, a brief meeting with King Charles, just 54 minutes long. But the impact? Devastating for William. The meeting with King Charles was brief, just 54 minutes, but the impact was massive. To the public, it looked like a father showing grace. To William, it was a slap across the face. He had spent years carrying the weight of the monarchy through scandals, illnesses, and public scrutiny. And here was Harry, the same brother who had publicly humiliated the family in books, interviews, and Netflix specials, being welcomed back like nothing had happened. And you see, this is the heart of the drama. Charles may forgive. Charles may open his arms, play the doting father, and smile for the cameras. But William? William is built of steel and fire. He cannot, will not, pretend that betrayal didn't happen. Charles might forgive, but William isn't built that way. One palace aide revealed William's anger wasn't just about the meeting, it was about the principle. Harry hadn't earned this kind of treatment. He hadn't apologized. He hadn't shown accountability. Yet he received a warm reception. To William, it felt like the palace was rewarding chaos and drama over loyalty and responsibility. And when Harry waltzed into Clarence's house with that trademark half smile, William's blood boiled hotter because he didn't see reconciliation. He saw manipulation, pure staged manipulation. Harry stepped into Clarence's house with that familiar half smile, hands slightly open, exuding charm for the cameras. William reportedly saw it as theatrics, a staged effort to soften public perception and reclaim relevance. And while Charles may have wanted peace, William's eyes told a different story. This wasn't reconciliation, it was manipulation. William wasn't fooled, not for a second. He didn't see a prodigal son returning home. He saw a brother playing a part, a role he no longer had the right to play. And the silent fury behind William's calm face? Oh darling, it was louder than any tabloid headline. William expressed privately that Harry was acting like a royal guest star in a monarchy he abandoned. And the truth is, every short interaction, every polite nod felt calculated. William wasn't fooled. He didn't see a prodigal son returning home. He saw a brother playing a part he no longer had the right to play. And the silent fury simmering behind William's calm public demeanor was louder than any headline. And this is just the opening act. Just when the palace thought things couldn't spiral further, Harry took his drama international, and oh, it wasn't a quiet charity run. No, darling, this was a full-blown performance on a global stage. Harry's trip to Ukraine didn't just raise eyebrows, it set palace whispers on fire. He flew into a literal war zone with cameras in tow, making speeches, posing for photos, and giving emotional statements about mental health and sibling support. On paper, it looked humanitarian. Behind palace walls, it looked reckless, and William was seeing red. Can you even imagine William juggling state dinners, ribbon cutting, and endless official duties, only to watch Harry, Mr. I quit the royal life, parading through a war zone with a media entourage. To the world, it looked bold, even heroic. But to William, it looked careless, dangerous, and above all, staged. No one in the royal household was consulted. Not Charles, not William, not even the Diana charities he'd once worked with. He only checked in with the British government and Meghan. That alone sparked outrage. Palace insiders said William couldn't understand how his brother could be so careless. One source said, "It's like he's daring us to call him out, like he thinks the world owes him applause." And that's the dagger, isn't it? Harry didn't just act alone. He acted without even a nod to the family whose crest he still benefits from. William saw it not as bravery, but as defiance. A stunt, plain and simple. While William was managing royal duties, state events, charity visits, and public appearances, Harry was flitting across Europe, crafting a solo PR narrative. Every photo op, every carefully worded statement, every selfie with officials screamed one thing: I'm still royal, even if I left the job. And oh, the hypocrisy. Let's not forget, Harry had dragged the British government to court over security, whining about safety in the UK. And yet, here he was, strutting confidently through a conflict zone, cameras flashing, relying on the very system he once condemned. Harry had sued the UK government over perceived security lapses, yet now he was confidently walking through a conflict zone relying on the same state apparatus he had publicly condemned. William reportedly whispered to aides that it felt like a mockery of the monarchy, a slap at the very institution Harry claimed he wanted nothing to do with. Exactly. To William, this wasn't about charity, it wasn't about compassion, it was a carefully choreographed PR stunt. And it worked. The headlines gushed, the world swooned, and William's fury, it boiled in silence. The stunt also sent a clear message. Harry was in control of the narrative. William could see it plain as day, and he wasn't impressed. It wasn't charity, it wasn't healing, it was a meticulously staged performance. And William felt blindsided, humiliated, and furious all at once. And if Ukraine wasn't enough, Harry went for the ultimate royal heartstring, their mother's legacy. Yes, the Diana Award, that sacred tribute. And Harry, he showed up solo. No William, no coordination. coordination, just him, the cameras, and that carefully polished smile. One of the most sensitive moments of Harry's UK trip was his appearance at the Diana Award. What should have been a heartfelt tribute to his late mother quickly turned into a powder keg of tension. Why? Because Harry showed up solo. No William, no coordination, just him, the cameras, and a carefully curated smile for the press. Can you imagine the audacity? The Diana Award wasn't just another charity gig, it was their mother's memory, and Harry seized it like a stage spotlight. To William, this wasn't honoring Diana. This was hijacking her legacy. William saw it as more than a snub. It was a deliberate provocation. The Diana Award carries enormous emotional weight for both brothers, tied directly to their mother's legacy. By stepping in alone, Harry wasn't honoring Diana, he was seizing the spotlight. One palace source reportedly said he knew exactly what he was doing. It was stagecraft, not a tribute. The tension was suffocating. And William's response? Brutal in its silence. He refused to attend. That's right, the future king deliberately stayed away, sending a message louder than any statement. William, who has always quietly supported these causes without fanfare, reportedly refused to attend, signaling silently that he wouldn't participate in Harry's public stunt. To him, this wasn't about charity. It was about ego. The optics of Harry smiling, shaking hands, and standing in front of banners celebrating Diana made it look like he was reclaiming a piece of history he had no right to monopolize. And the betrayal? It didn't stop there. William found out the same way the rest of us did, through headlines, not through brotherly respect. The betrayal didn't stop there. Sources say William felt blindsided because Harry had made no attempt to include him, discuss plans, or even hint at his visit. It wasn't respect, it was a statement. Every camera click, every staged moment screamed, "I'm still royal, I still matter." For William, this wasn't reconciliation, this was war. Harry wasn't extending an olive branch, he was snatching the crown of public sympathy. For William, watching from the sidelines, the stunt reinforced a growing belief. His brother wasn't interested in family reconciliation, he was interested in headlines. And when it came to legacy, William realized Harry was rewriting it in his own image, without permission, without accountability, and without care for the family left behind. And that, darling, is the tragedy of our time. Two brothers once united by grief, now divided by ambition, betrayal, and a spotlight too blinding to share. The crown may forgive, but William, he never will.